This image is going to, this tutorial is going to show you how you can turn an image to black and white, but then bring back some of that color. You see this, I know there are certain settings on cameras and apps and things these days that will do this for you, but in Photoshop, of course, again, you can be a little bit more specific. You have more of your choice as an artist of what you can do to bring back that color. This might get a little tricky for you, so please pay attention carefully and take notes on this. Make sure you use your notes. And what you learn in this, you can apply to any other image adjustment change. If you watched my previous videos on using mask tools for editing our value in our Communicating with Light project, then you probably already know how this will work if you haven't already tried it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change my image to black and white. Okay? What I want to do is I want to bring back some color in this image, maybe in those haystacks in the back. With my layers box open, we see that I have the change of black and white. This white box will appear. This white box means that the black and white change is showing on this image, which is why here it's in black and white. What I can do is I can hide that black and white change anywhere by masking it through using the black brush. I have to make sure that this box is selected, and then over to my tools bar I will select the brush option. I will make sure that I'm using the black brush because we know black will hide. If I paint white in this box, it's not going to show anything. So I'm going to use my black brush, and I'm going to, I can increase the size of my brush easily. There are two ways to do that. You can go up to the top here and change your master diameter. I actually like to, I actually like to use just the brackets on my keypad. So if you look at your keypad or your keyboard, look for the letter P. To the right of that, there are two brackets, a left bracket and a right bracket. The left bracket will make the brush smaller, while the right bracket will make it larger. When I also work in this way, I like to zoom in. And my keypad shortcuts for that, or my keyboard shortcuts, are Control+ to move in. And if I wanted to paint these haystacks, and I wanted to be able to move about my image, I can hold down my space bar and get this hand and just maneuver it around like so. So what I will be doing here is I'm going to be painting. Again, I have my black brush showing. I've changed the size of my brush to be a little larger, and I've zoomed in. And here I am painting the haystack in. Now it's not coming out as bright because I noticed here my opacity is not at 100%. So I'm going to turn it to 100%, and now it is much brighter. We notice that, oops, I've painted some of that grass. Ooh, I didn't want that. Well, if you notice in your box here, if you look really closely, I know it's probably really tiny for you to see, but there are some black marks there, which are indicating where I've painted with the haystacks. Okay, now I need to zoom in a little bit more. I think I'm getting old and my eyes are getting a little bit. Okay. I'm going to make my brush just a little bit smaller to capture this detail here. And again, I am making some major whoopsies. Here's how you fix that. You just reverse it. You go to your white brush. Okay, this is better than doing any kind of erasing or covering or anything like this because you can flip back and forth. I can just toggle here, or what's easier is I can hit X on my keypad. I'm hitting X over and over here. Again, you can see how it flips. This way you can really kind of utilize both hands in Photoshop instead of relying only on the mouse. It's much quicker, especially if you're doing a lot of editing. So here I'm using the white brush to fix my mistakes and to just go back and forth, okay, between the edits that I need to create. Okay, notice I'm using kind of the edge of the brush, so I'm not going too crazy here. Toggle again. Get this little haystack dude over here. Make sure I got him. And then I'm going to use my Control- to zoom out and see what that looks like. Oh, goodness. Made a mistake here too. Using my space bar, moving them on over. Move it, move it, move it. Use my white brush to fix it. And there we are. For a while, this bringing back color into black and white was like super popular in weddings and portrait photography and things like that. But here you can do it on your own. For free. For cheap. Alright? So hopefully you learned how to use the masking tool. And again, I want to emphasize that any change that you do, which is why I have you do these re-editable changes in Photoshop using this image adjustment icon here, is you can show and hide this for any change you do. So if you do a color change and it changes some color that you didn't want it to do in one layer of your image, you can just go back and hide it, show it, whatever you need to do. So I hope this was helpful to you and you'll be able to apply this in multiple ways.